for me personally, so it was just repetition and just hunger, really. I mean, I say this all the time. When you get too comfortable, that's when things start going wrong, you know. And it's you just got to remain hungry and have a passion and drive for what you're doing, regardless of what you're doing. Because if you don't love it, you're not in it anymore. You tend to go in the wrong direction. So yeah, that would be my advice: is just remain hungry and never get too comfortable with. Even if you got success, still find a way to make yourself feel uncomfortable. So when you are uncomfortable, you're comfortable. If that makes sense. Definitely, that's one of the things on my bucket list, is to come back over to JA and come to the office again and just see what's happening and just feel the atmosphere from a different angle, maybe in the stands, because obviously as a player you take it in and it's different. So I'd like to come there just as a spectator and a supporter. And as we've been talking, Si, you know, I feel like a lot of the supporters are frustrated at the amount of ability that they see in playing in English and American leagues, where players either choose different countries or they don't come at all. And we touched on this, and I said, and even when I talked to Captain Burrell and the other people in charge, you know, investment is needed into the JFF, and it's difficult to get players to come from, how can I put it, they're kind of comfortable set up where they're on a lot of money to, and I shouldn't be saying this, but it's just the reality, you know, when you've got players that have got, whether it's endorsement deals or big contracts, to fly such a long way. And this is on a different kind of perspective, from a player's perspective. A lot of players are hesitant because they hear stories about the training facilities and maybe other scenarios, and maybe the time difference and the food is if it affects your main kind of income, you sometimes, and I'm speaking from their perspective, sometimes they're looking at it as like, what if I get injured? What if I go? What if my form changes? So there's that side of it. How attractive is it? And I think over recent years we've managed to attract some better players, and especially coming from the Jamaican setup, there's been a lot of players. But you know, the JFF need to invest because listen, the Reggae Boys ain't that far off being a huge force, and I said that to you a long time ago. Just one or two tweaks and the team is a powerhouse. It's just that finer detail that's missing, that's holding us back. So hopefully, as I said, after this whole COVID dies down, the JFF and whoever's involved really got their way to scout and convince players to join, because it's such an honour and you know, the feeling when everybody goes boom, you know, it's the shivers that you get in your spine is different. So, you know, I had to explain to Big Wes, I had to explain to Joby McAnuff, even Maps, they were asking me, I said, nah, come through, man, it's like no other, and they've not looked back, you know. So and they're players that you know, once they put on the shirt, if those three individuals, especially, you know, Big Naira, Noseworthy, Ask Me, Nugsy, those guys basically came through me telling them, nah, come through, you know, come through. And then they've not, I don't know how many, I think Maps is on 50 caps, Big Wes Morgan's on, I don't know, Joby's he's a leader, you know. And there are other players like young Ravel Morrison, he's got his head in the twilight zone at the moment, but I think that he'll be a player worth waiting for, because he's just enigma, you know, his ability, and you know, in Jamaica people love a skill, a step over, and somebody who can create like a tapper. He's that kind of ilk, and I'm going to talk to him personally, and I've been talking to him, but I think he's just been trying to get a stable path in his career, and I think once he does, the Jamaican fans would love him. I know I'll speak to any players I can to come over and rep the Reggae.